It's the Andy and Remington Steel Show on a Tuesday night, talking about Age of Sigmar and everything else that is cool. Talking about Warhammer fantasy, it's easy to learn the rules. Yes, indeedy.
Folks, it's time for a round of Meet My Instrument, hosted by Remington Steele.
Yes, sir. Welcome back, ladies and gents. No, not to another boring England qualifier, but to your favourite show on the interwebs. That is the Andy and Rem Age of Sigmar show. Welcome.
I believe you're about to introduce us to your instrument for tonight, aren't you?
Oh, yes. This is a legendary instrument straight from the 1970s. And you can't really see it now, but I'll post a picture up on our Facebook group because my laptop is sitting upon this gorgeous bit of vintage gear known to collectors as a Wurlitzer.
Is it true that you've nicknamed it the Beast?
You just called it that. It's how gorgeous is that tone, right? Yes, baby. Yeah, I'm just loving this. I can play this all day. In fact, I've not been painting any miniatures. I've just been playing music. Yes,
If only there was $1 million idea that could combine painting with music. You need to get your thinking cap on. You need to come up with one of them for us. But before we get to any of that juicy goodness, and indeed the other topics for the night, of course, welcome to the Andy and Rem show, and let's have a look and see who is in the chat tonight on the fabled active users list. So we've got Ads Hintoa, Andreas Goodmanson, Andrew Wade, Bazooka J Rambo, Dark Adrenaline, Demon _Lizard _ from _outer _space, Gloomdready Gaming, Green Bat, who I'm reliably informed is a pseudonym of Rural Goblin, Mickey Jenver, Paul Conti, and there's the actual Rural Goblin as well. So it's like double Rural Goblin action in the chat right now. And Sebastian Blau, and there's Dave Nat and Mini Warrior as well have just popped up, and Stu Gibson as well. And Turtle and Beauvoir, they're just flying into the chat now, non-stop. If I was to carry on reading out their names, then I'm sure we'll just be here all night doing that. So, Mr. Remington, we've been in a drought, haven't we, as far as Age of Sigmar content?
Yes, you know what? They better be careful because we might pursue other interests. You know, like, I don't know, what about music, for example? Or video games?
I think that maybe they realised that people were considering reaching out into other interests, and they've dangled a tantalising dangler for us, haven't they? A tantalising teaser, if you will.
Maybe for you, as a Stormcast Eternal player, but as me, and everything else but player, it's it's like, oh god, another one? Really? This time he's holding he's holding a stick with a bit of torn curtain on it and a sword. Great.
Well, I think you're doing it a bit of an injustice there. Let's have a look, shall we, at the image. So here it is. The mysterious silhouette. Of course, holding a sword and holding something else. Now, I don't think it's fair to say it's a piece of torn curtain. It could quite easily be an ancient mystical tome with some kind of scribings in there. He's clearly wearing some kind of, I say he, but we can't really tell. There has been speculation that it could be the first visibly female Stormcast, although I don't see how you would really represent that in the armour without it looking silly. Because really, if they were just women in there, they would look the same on the outside, pretty much.
Now, what makes me think it might be a female heroine is look at the stick. That could easily be a mirror on the end, right? And
you think GW are going to stick to the kind of old stereotypes where the men do the fighting and the women are like the cackling witches and
Well, it could be like a mirror of doom. It could like just shine a light on the just how ugly some of the enemy models really are. I don't know.
So you think it's going to be a beautiful woman holding up a mirror for the enemy to cast their eyes on their own hideous visage, and then they'll be so demoralized by it that they add +3 to all battle shock rolls.
Well, she's quite dexterous. She's holding a large stick in one hand and a sword in the other. And she's, in a very open stance, you might say.
Well, I'm going to assume that this is just another Stormcast who have all been portrayed pretty much as males so far. And of course, we can't really tell what it is, but the speculation is running wild as it could be some kind of wizard.
Now, Andy, do you think this model is facing you, or does it have a back to you? Because I think it's got its back to you. Because
that is a very interesting point, actually.
Most people are right-handed, so holding the sword in the right hand and the mirror stick in the left hand, that would make sense.
There are left-handed people out there that are going nuts right now. We've got some comments on this already, though. Apparently, Dreddy says that she sees the mirror of doom every morning in the bathroom before her first coffee.
Yeah, me too.
Let's see. Well, there's one here from Mini Warrior, who is just quoting you. I think he's trying to put this out there as your Remington quote of the night. That's a bit of a thing the audience do. And he's suggested she's quite dexterous holding a giant stick in one hand. Should be the quote of the night. So we'll see. We'll see if you can beat that by the end of the evening, shall we? Stu Gibson says it could be the new Lord Relictor sculpt. I thought it looked at first that it looked a little bit like the Lord Castellant, the one who has the Griffhound.
Mm-hmm.
And he carries a bit of it's kind of a lanternish type thing that he carries around with him. So maybe it could be like a light beacon on the end of a stick instead.
Yeah, or it could be like a Stormcast netter. So it's a stick with like a net on the end. Like them butterfly catchers. So maybe it's like a goblin catcher.
It could be, or it could be the old Reeves and Mortimer man with stick.
Exactly.
In Stormcast armor. And then the special rule would be what's on the end of your stick. And there's a mysterious table that you have to roll on to determine what's on the end of it. Sebastian Blau thinks the halo does look a bit Castellant-like. It would be a bit disappointing, though, because it does say a new hero of the Mortal Realms, not a new pose of an existing hero within the Mortal Realms emerges. So I don't think it's going to be something we've seen before. I think it's going to be something new, hopefully a caster. And someone on the Facebook group pointed us towards this here, which shows us, of course, that there are other chambers within the Stormcast Eternals hierarchy. And he was suggesting that it could be the Ruination Chamber. And I'm led to believe that none of these are actually nightclubs, by the way. They all sound a bit like that, though, don't they? Have you ever been to the Sacrosanct Chamber nightclub?
No. Should I?
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Well,
faithful.
People are saying maybe sisters of Sigmar, but what about daughters? No, we got daughters of Cain. All right, what about aunties or mothers?
Grandmothers of Sigmar.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not sold on that idea.
No, we're not. It doesn't roll off the tongue.
Not at all. So we don't need to keep staring at this silhouette any longer. However, we are going to keep talking about it because this is the first piece of meat that we've been able to sink our fangs into that's actually new, juicy stuff. So on the old Facebook group, which of course people can join by clicking on the link in the description, I asked for some suggestions from people what this character could be, what its name might be, any special rules they can come up with, and here are some suggestions we had. So Jeremy thinks that it's Tim from Cardiff. I don't think that's a very good suggestion at all. Matt then suggests that it's actually Frank, Stormcast accountant with his staff of budget cuts. I'm not sure whether the Stormcast need an accountant. I think that's a little bit too down to earth for them. They're much more glorious than that. And accountancy isn't exactly the most glamorous of jobs. If he was, let's say, a lion tamer, That would be a little bit more exciting. Okay, then we've got one from Power Chord. I'm really 100% certain that is not his real name. He says, just wizard, keyword, and some standard spells would suffice. Well, that's not very imaginative, but I think that could be where we're heading with it. It seems likely that it is going to be a caster, and as long as the Stormcast gets some nice access to the old Mystic Shield and the old Arcane Bolt without having to rely on bringing in any allied casters, I would like that very much. Some of the Stormcast units would benefit greatly from that Mystic Shield, and I'm sure you would be cursing your luck when I successfully cast it on my hard-hitting units as they penetrate your lines.
Nothing wrong with a little bit of penetration.
Here and there, of course, there's nothing wrong with it.
Right, back in a sec. I've just got to plug something in.
I beg your pardon. Well, I have no idea what he's doing, but you should have seen how fast he sprinted then across the screen. If the camera was focused on him. In fact, let's look at his beautiful lighting he's got in the background there while we're waiting for the old Remster to come back. As all 39 of you currently in the audience sit there and wait. I found that the audience does steadily go up during this show, by the way. And here he is.
Sorry about that. Yeah, well, that was a quickie.
It certainly was.
That's how I roll, baby.
We've had some other suggestions here. This is from Mickey Genver. Now, this is showing some serious imagination. It's not actually a Stormcast. It's 3 piggies sitting on each other's shoulders. It's hard to spot those things in silhouettes. It's called the Bacon Slicer. Anything that touches it gains +1 movement for a round as they get greased up. Fire Slayers within 12 inches suffer -1 to hit and to wound as it wafts them with its fan thing and cools them down. I'm not 100% on that one.
Everyone's calling me at the same time. Leave me alone. I'm on the Andy and Rem show.
How many communication devices do you have?
I've too many. It's probably someone selling me something. I better get this. Hold on.
It could be someone selling you a new sculpt of the Lord Castellant. I think we should listen to this, folks.
Hello. Hello. Hello, Nico. I'm all right. Can I ring you back? All right, Chief. Bye. Sorry about that. That was my tour manager.
The Chief, by the sounds of things.
It's Nico from Manchester. Big Manchester City fan like you.
Oh, that's all right then.
What a loser.
He suddenly sounds like a much more interesting chap. Okay, we've got another suggestion here from Benjamin who says it's the Lord Astromant with the wizard keyword. What do you think of that name, Astromant?
Yeah, I like it. As you said, Stormcast, I was thinking of, possible rival or allied factions. You could have the Raincast. Or what about the Sleet? The Sleet Cast.
The Sleet Cast.
Yeah, no one likes Sleet, do they? They've already got Frost Lords, but what about Sleet?
Yeah, Sleet. It's kind of that it's like the black sheep of the weather family, isn't it?
Yeah. Sleet.
It's not quite rain. It's not quite snow. It's sleet. It's that kind of annoying middle ground. You wish the weather would just make up its mind and settle on one thing.
What other weather conditions could we use? Got sleet, snow, ice cast. The ice cast. I like that.
Well, we've already got the very frosty ogres, though, haven't we?
Okay. What about the dice cast? Eternals. And
the
they're
dice
just like
Eternals.
Yeah, dice with like feet on the bottom. How about that? Maybe that's
I think you're wandering into the realms of fantasy here.
Or $1 million ideas. Who can tell these days?
That one certainly isn't quite at $1 million.
Yeah, Mini Warrior says Thundercast. I like that.
Thundercast. Well, they are on the loose. That's what I've heard. Anyway, those were the suggestions that we had. And now it's our turn to wildly speculate. So you already suggested a couple of very bizarre things. I'm thinking that on the image, it's going to be holding up a page of a tome. As I said before, it's going to be cloaked, a very glorious headpiece, and it's going to be a wizard casting Mystic Shield around. And if you've got any suggestions for spells for this caster and name suggestions, drop them in there right now into the old chat, and we'll go through some of those.
The obvious one that comes to mind is like Call Lightning. How about that? Call the Storm.
What would that do?
Some lightning bolts, maybe. But yeah, back to
lightning bolts that dance from unit to unit, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean the figure itself, it does look like a conversion, doesn't it, of stuff that's already out there. That's what worries me, but you never know till you see it properly.
Say that about all the Stormcast though, just because they're all built on the same basic framework with just an extra piece on their hat or a slightly different shoulder.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the Storm Bolt or Ice Blast. No, can't have Ice Blast because it's Stormcast Eternal. So what are the features of a storm? Well, there's a big cloud, and then there might be a chance of getting struck by lightning. That's a good one then, yeah. On a roll of a 6, the cloud bursts with storm, and then on a roll of a 1, 2, or 3, maybe it starts raining. And a roll of a 5, maybe, I don't know, maybe it just like it thunders really loudly and kind of makes it so you can't move because you've got your hand over your ears and you're dropping all your weapons.
You can't walk because you've actually shown some incredible bodily flexibility and you've put your feet to your ears instead, which is why you can't move. So imagine those were feet and not hands. I like this suggestion here from Dreddy, the Dreamcast, who are highly capable but still obsolete after a month.
Dice Miniature Paint Guy says 69 cast. That could be interesting.
This is actually episode number 69.
Oh, wow.
Mr. Remington, were you aware of that?
No, man, that's amazing. We're like catching up with the, the big names of Warhammer Fantasy, like, I don't know, Heel and Hammer. If we go on, we're going to actually surpass these giants.
I think you'll find we're already the biggest names in the world of fantasy wargaming on YouTube. Certainly.
What about Warhammer Weekly? That's pretty big. I must admit, it needs spicing up, that show, man. Come on, I'm like struggling to watch that show now. I love the guys.
Spice.
It needs some music. It needs some dancing. It needs Vince to get up off his chair. In fact, has anyone seen Vince Venturella out of a chair?
I have actually. I've seen him in a picture from a convention. And he was standing.
He was standing
He was kind of scowling at someone who was dancing.
I don't know. I think he's like Davros from Doctor Who, and he's like stuck in a chair like that, and he can only move his hands and head.
Well, we've suggested other shows may need spice. This show, the last few weeks, has been nothing but spice because we haven't had anything new to sink our fangs into. But of course, now we have this little nugget that's almost something to talk about. And at the weekend, we'll actually find out what it is. So next week, we'll be able to delve big time into that one. Hopefully, we'll have a war scroll and some serious, hardcore Stormcast golden images to look at as well.
Well, speaking of new stuff, Andy, the other thing that's new is actually hobby related, isn't it? From Games Workshop.
Yes, there is something that's potentially quite tasty from the old GW. So let's have a look at that, shall we? I know as an avid painter, you're going to have a lot to say about this. So these are the textured paints. And because there aren't any other exciting kind of narrative releases, I'm going to do a nice little reading of this sentence here. To show just how easy it is to come up with your own basing combinations, we're presenting a selection of examples to help get you started. Simply find the color scheme you like and follow the instructions. Well, Agril and Earth.
Right, the first question, Andy, is do you like the ones on the left or the ones on the right better? Because the ones on the left are the thin version, and the ones on the right are the thicky
Well,
version.
let's work our way down and find out what we like more. So for this one, I'm liking the thick version.
Yeah, me too. But maybe it's because it's on a big base. Thick looks better.
It could be, but I think that looks a little bit less natural than that. Just my view.
Now, when
This is Agrelin Badland is the thick version.
Oh, different names. I find the Agrellian Earth is wicked, but it does tend to flake off very easily. It's a bit flaky.
I haven't tried it.
When you rub it up the wrong way.
Well, you don't. When you're rubbing it, you certainly don't want flakes coming off. That's a bad sign.
Yeah.
Now, looking here, we've got Stirland Mud and then Stirland Battlemire. Now, out of these two, I'm leaning towards the one on the left, actually. I think that looks a bit clumpy.
Now, you got to remember, look, they've dry brushed on top of it as well, haven't they?
I have no idea.
Yeah, they've got a heavy dry brush.
Yeah, they must have done.
Ryan Rust, never heard of that. And the dry brush of Eldar Flesh. So, yeah, maybe dusting would work better.
Riser Rust is a nice paint, by the way. It's like a very, very pigmenty orange.
Ah.
Then we've got this Astrogranite and Astrogranite Debris.
Yeah, I like the Debris one. I like that one.
It looks okay. There's a big difference between these two here with the Martian Iron Earth and the Martian Iron Crust. Obviously, it's crustier. There's all kinds of crevices weaving through it. What do you think? I'm liking the look of that one on the right there a bit more. Yeah,
I think this looks better for maybe 40k stuff, or maybe
alien planets. Although considering the way Age of Sigmar is presented aesthetically, alien planets are really probably still suitable for that as well.
True.
We've got Armageddon Dust and Armageddon Dunes.
I like that dune. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I think that looks pretty cool. This is a brand new one here. So this isn't like based on one of the other paints. This is just Valhallan Blizzard Snow. Now, it's hard to judge from this picture. I think we would need to see from multiple angles to see exactly how this stuff looks.
That's my favorite. Yeah, that's my favorite. I think my ogre army, I've got this snow effect. It looks pretty much like that, and it's really, really effective.
There are a lot of snow effect products out there, though, so I'd be interested to see how this one measures up to them.
The key to doing good snow is not to put it too much, to put too much over the base. Just to use it sparingly. And if you're going to put blood, which a lot of people do like to put blood all over snow, is, be very sparing with it. And if you spill a bit of like yellow glaze on the snow, don't drink yellow snow, is my advice.
Certainly don't. Don't scoop it up. Don't throw it at anybody. Don't drink it. Don't make snow angels in it. Just stay away. Then, basing kits. A range of basing materials that can be combined to create unique bases. Okay, well, little items for you to stick all over your bases. What do you think of them?
Yeah, these are nice. Really nice.
So, out of all this lot, do you think you'll be giving each of them a try?
Not all of them. How much are these things then? About what, £4?
Well, they're in the big pots, which are the same as the shade pots at the moment. So they're going to be at least a few pounds, yeah.
Yeah, I reckon I'll be getting one of the snows. Shame they don't do it in yellow, but maybe I can do my own yellow snow.
You certainly could. You could add a bit of yellow glaze or wash in there.
Yeah, or maybe do a little bit of dusting on top to give it that highlighted effect that everyone loves. And I'll be going for one of these earthy ones, maybe the black one. Yeah. What about you, Andrew?
Well, I do like the look of the snow, but I don't have a project that I would like to use it on at this time. Out of all this lot, again, I'm struggling to see an application for any of them because I already have kind of my own basing system for all the armies I'm currently working on. So maybe if I started a new army, I would consider going all out and using some new crazy kind of basing technique. I've wanted to try this kind of cracked earth effect at some point, But like you were saying with this stuff, I always see it kind of chipped off people's bases, where little pieces of it have just peeled away and fallen off.
Now, the chat's gone crazy, Andy, because we just briefly mentioned dusting, but everyone wants to know, they're all into their new kind of hobby techniques. And that is one thing. Vince Venturella is awesome. He's developed some great YouTube videos on various basing techniques. But of course, you may have noticed a technique invented by myself. Yes, dusting. We did a whole show on that, I believe. But if you haven't heard of it, check it out. Check out my videos on my channel. They're few and far between, but it's premium content, ladies and gentlemen.
Premium content indeed. Mm-hmm. Dusting, a technique that before I knew about dusting, I thought I'd already reached the peak of painting ability. And then as soon as I learned about that technique and started, the first time I applied it to a miniature, suddenly it took my level of painting from what I thought was an A previously. I realized it was actually more in the region of an F. And once I applied that tiny amount of dusting, it just elevated it to a B instantly, even before I'd finished.
That's fascinating. That's actually, things like this, little things like this, really change lives.
Like the Remington finger sponge.
Still in development stage, but the concept is patented, by the way, so no one should rip it off. And I don't believe anyone else has any dibs on that idea. The Remington finger sponge, 100% original. And look, the great thing about the Remington sponge is you can hold the model in one hand, your paintbrush in the other, and also the Remington finger sponge. Look, see that motion I'm doing with my fingers? Or maybe you might want to do it on that finger. Or maybe you want to get the XL finger brush. So it's two fingers.
What about the Remington thumb brush? Have you considered that?
That is awesome. There's no end of times where I haven't licked my fingers, when I'm just lick the brush. But what if you could have paint specially designed to go on your fingers or your nails? In fact, it could be like a wet palette for your nails. You'd never have to move your hand away from the model. We've all got 10 fingers, and each finger could be like a different color.
Can you imagine Duncan trying to use his nail as a palette, the amount of paint he goes through?
Yeah. No, I can't imagine that. I can't imagine that. But yeah, maybe I could, because now we've mentioned it on the show, he's bound to come up with something in the next week or two.
Well, I have heard that the Duncan finger sponge is a product that they're considering launching at GW. Speaking of GW, did you see their video from inside the hallowed halls of Warhammer World, where they had a couple of their guys walking around the back revealing upcoming secrets?
Oh, tell me more.
Now, they're all 40k related, so they're not that interesting to us, but the idea that they're spilling the beans on things that aren't released yet. We heard about Gore Chosen a few months before it came out. Now we're hearing about some 40k things that aren't out yet. As some of them are still possibly months and months away by the sounds of it.
What do you
think of this approach?
Yeah, I like it. Might they involve Space Marines?
Well, some of them certainly involve Chaos Space Marines and female Space Marines, yes.
Wow, I can't wait for that. But yeah, in general, the idea is amazing. They should have done this a long time ago, because I think it's good to build up hype. People can start saving their money and looking forward to stuff coming out, rather than coming in and out of the hobby because you don't think anything's going on, and then it gets people in, doesn't it? It keeps
or splashing money out on competitors' products.
Keeps people engaged, doesn't it? It's like like if a band just puts a single out and then does nothing for a year, they've got to do a lot more work to get you back into what they're doing. But if they put out a single and then another single, and they put out an album, and then they do a tour, and then a live app, it keeps people going, doesn't it?
So if you had £45 in your wallet right now,
yeah,
and you'd vowed you were going to spend that on miniatures, and then GW let it slip via their Facebook page that someone has come across a sprue just lying around somewhere in the dank, murky, janitorial areas of Warhammer World and GWHQ, and they found this sprue, and they read the text on it, Jabberslithe 2017. It's a plastic sprue. Would that cause you to save that £45 for that specific purchase?
Oh, well, it would make me rethink selling my Beastman army. Put it that way.
So does that mean you're actually pondering selling your Beastman army right now?
I am. Basically, guys, I have too many armies and I can't justify having them all. So rather than having all these armies in boxes and tucked away, why not give them out to people that want to, have a fully painted, professional, dusted, finger painted, finger sponged army of their own?
Didn't you say all this 3 months ago and then not sell any of them?
Yeah, I know, but no one's like, I'm not hearing the enthusiasm, so I thought I'd mention it again. What I need to do next week, I'm on half-term holiday. I'm going to produce some videos, all right? And it should tantalize your taste buds. I will show off my ogre collection, my beastman collection, my vampire counts or undead collection. I'm not selling my halflings. I might sell some dwarves. I might very well sell a 30-year-old wood elf army because it's only ever been used once by Andy in a battle. So, yeah, virgin armies. And the thing is, I've realised that when I focus paint, I can actually do a whole new army in like a month or two, like I have done with my Savage Orcs. So, yeah, I'm not going to feel like I've really lost something precious because I can always recreate it. But what I can't get back is the hundreds of hours I spent painting each and every one of these armies.
Well, you can never get that back, and if you're pretty sure you're never going to play with those armies because you've got so many compared to the amount of games that you actually play, then really, if your house were to just burn down while you're out tomorrow, all those armies would be gone.
Yeah.
If you sell them on to people to adorn all these beautiful gaming tables around the world.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've done a bunch of battle reports with the Beastmen, so maybe it's time the herd moved on to another part of the dark forest, so to speak.
Well, I would say if you're going to get rid of any army, you need to do an extensive video on them.
Mm-hmm.
Really highly detailed discussion on how you painted each individual model, going over all the different techniques, the story behind purchasing each model, what they've done in the games.
That'd be nice.
Like a farewell tribute to the Beastmen. And then after you've finished making it, you'll be so emotional you won't be able to part with it.
Yeah, something like that.
You've got an offer already. Dreddy will give you €5 for the Beastmen.
Well, it's a start.
Well, the current value of the pound, I believe that actually works out somewhere around £15,000.
Yeah, I'll take that. £15,000. Yes. Yeah. No, I think it's a good idea to out with the old, in with the new. Right? You can only have one battle at a time, can't you? And even sometimes I've brought two armies to play against you, Andy, and I just get tired after one game, maximum 2 games. So,
your energy levels go to about 1.5 games.
I'm getting old, ain't I? But even like the top gaming players, they don't have as many armies as I've got. So it's better to maybe just have 1 or 2. Focus on your energy, because at the minute I've got so many I can't keep up with all the rules and everything. So it's amazing. I'm even competing with the likes of tournament regulars like yourself, Andy. It must be
hardcore tournament competitive gaming legends like me.
There's a highly evolved brain in his head that manages to keep all these plates spinning.
Well, we'll let the audience speculate on that one. We've got actually $1 million idea here from Mickey Jenber. Let's burn down Rem's house for insurance.
That's if my house is insured, though. there might be a little bit of a problem with that.
Oh dear.
How do you insure fantasy miniatures? Do you know, does like an insurance person come round and say, yes, these are collector's items? How would they know? You know?
That's an interesting point. I suppose they would have to do some research if you wanted to take out some kind of policy on your armies to determine their exact value. I'm sure they wouldn't just take your word for it.
Oh, yes, I forgot. I've also got a Dark Elf army and a Chaos army. So
the Dark Elf army, they're very nicely based, aren't they?
I love that Dark Elf army. So yeah, I'll do videos on all of them. And what I'm going to do, before I put it out on eBay, I will put my wares on offer to you guys first if you're interested. You might know other people that are, but in all honesty, I'd love these miniatures to be used more on the tabletop than they're going to be with me. And it's not because I don't like them. It's just because I got too many, and I want to keep, painting new stuff, and it's getting harder and harder to justify new stuff. When I've got maybe 2,000-3,000 models already. What a loser.
I think the audience fully understands your plight. I'm sure many of them are in a similar situation. We all have a huge amount of models that we either don't use at all or don't use very much. So being able to kind of cut the string and let it fly the nest, that's a bit of a metaphor there.
I'm looking at the chat now, and it's like together we've come up with our own legitimate $1 million idea, and that is a fantasy miniature insurance company that insures your minis against damage in transportation and theft. How about that?
So what we could do, really, is we could go around to people's houses, people we know have substantial miniatures collections that are worth good money, and we'll basically say to them, it's a nice collection of minis you got there. It'd be a shame if something would have happened to them. And offer them our protection services.
Yeah, I like it. But there's
for us.
We're going to have to write in a lot of it's going to have to be watertight, and we have to put in plenty of ways to get out and not paying, just like normal insurance companies do. Yeah.
If it's if it's a natural disaster, of course we're not paying for that.
Yeah. Did you leave your miniatures on the games on the games table unattended at any point?
Did you leave them in your home unattended? Did you have a pet in your house?
Oh, a lot of gamers and hobbyists have pets that run amok over figures. Yeah.
I've heard untold tales of cats chewing on miniatures, taking legs off colossal beasts and so forth.
Yeah. There you go. Rem's in the Andean Rem. What should we call the company? Andean Rem Trust.
Well, I think we can pass that over to the audience and see if they can come up with a great name for our miniature insurance company. I'm sure they can. They're a creative bunch out there. So, while they're coming up with that, shall we move on to our next segment of the show?
Oh, time's running out, Andy. I only have 15 minutes left.
Indeed.
Oh, my God.
Right. You better get on with it then.
Right. Now, is it time for What the Hell Is That?
It certainly is.
Oh, wow. Well, it's my turn to produce the What the Hell Is That? And today's What the Hell Is That is this. Can you tell me what this is while I play the theme tune at the same time? Here we go. Woo! What the hell is that? Here we go. What the hell is that? 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 Only Andy and Remington know. Yes, sir. Bad. I didn't even practice that. But there you go. That is a golden oldie. What the hell is that?
Well, we've got our first guess. Mini Warrior asks if it is Elvis Vampire.
That'll be a no.
Bazooka J. Rambo says Bright Wizard.
Computer says no.
Raphael Marge says a miniature. I don't think that's specific enough, though.
No,
We need specifics here.
I can tell you it's a Games Workshop miniature.
Is it a very old Games Workshop miniature from back when you were a young whippersnapper?
Yeah, it is.
Kiabasa says hairless Wookiee.
Nope, but good try.
Mini Warrior says Pit Fighter.
No.
Dice Miniature Paint Guy says Tree Man.
No, but that's half true.
Ooh.
Got the man bit right.
Dreddy says Frederick the Frivolous Wizard.
No.
Rob Lloyd Sweet says Sea Elf Bolt Thrower Crew.
Getting warm with C-bit.
Rural Goblin says Night Elf Adventurer.
No, way off.
Mini Warrior says it's a Space Marine.
No.
Certainly is not a Space Marine. Look, you can actually see some arm there. It's not just shoulder pad.
It is a model based on one of GW's specialist games.
Ooh.
From one of the specialist games. Sorry.
Mickey Genverse says, is it a seaman?
Oh, so close. I know she knows a lot about seamen. But yeah, you're on
near the coast, perhaps.
You're on the right trail.
Mini Warrior says Flockless Pygmy.
No.
Bazooka J. Rambo says Merman.
So close.
Hyper Kinako says Fishman.
And Hyper Kinako would be correct. It is. After all the speculations about GW producing a brand new faction, and some people have said Fishmen, I looked into the archives and discovered that on eBay itself, are we still sharing?
No.
No, we're not sharing. This is what I found in eBay's rare section. I found this, and it's not that, but it's this. See this? Can you see that?
Yes, we can. Citadel Fishman.
Yeah, or Night Horror, a HP Lovecraft style 1980s GW miniature, and it's going for £10. Should we see if there's any more information about this? No, there's no other information. But yeah, I thought you might be interested in seeing what.
Do you know what I was really hoping for then? When you scrolled down, I was hoping there would be like recommended products based on your previous purchases, and it'd be something really embarrassing. But no, not this time.
Why does everyone think I'm a pervert? I don't understand.
I have absolutely no idea why anyone would ever come to that conclusion.
I read the comments and it's like, yeah, Remington's right, like gigolo. Yeah, Remington gets about a bit, dips his wick around, and it's a bit of a, bit of a sailor. I don't know where you get these thoughts from. I'm actually a decent gent.
Well, we'll let the audience make up their own mind, won't we? I think maybe you haven't helped your reputation with your antics in the Forest of Rem adventure, some of your questionable moral decision-making.
Well, in fact, let's get right back into the Forest of Andy and Rem, right? And we can rectify. Sorry, we can adjust.
Are you going to be adjusting your moral compass?
If I find a compass, I will know which way north is instead of going south.
Well, here we go. It's the Forest of Rem, an original fantasy adventure in which you, meaning Remington, are the hero, complete with combat system, monster encounters, and there is no score sheet. Because Remington doesn't like making notes.
Let's go to the Forest of Rem. You have to be a man of men. Let's go through the Forest of Rem. Let's find out what happens and then... Next chapter. Chapter 4.
Was that the end of the song then?
That was the end, an abrupt ending to the song, because we all want to get on with the show. Come on, let's
Very
do
well.
this.
As you may recall, last time out, young, budding musician Remington, seeking to avenge or perhaps just investigate the death of his longtime mentor, and also investigate the origins of a mysterious two-pieced amulet. The second part he uncovered within the mysterious Flesh Tower. After groping at the walls and springing forth a leak from a vein, and further fumbling around, Remington's clumsiness and his eagerness to investigate the mysteries of the amulet caused a hole to appear in the ceiling, and when we left off last time, it was raining spiders, 8-legged monstrosities the size of your hand, are filling up the upper part of the room. The lower part is still filling up with blood. So, Master Remington, you have options ahead of you. You have a staircase, which you chose to ignore last time.
Yep.
You could try and plug a hole to stop the blood. You could try and plug a hole to stop the spiders. Or you could just do something crazy like you normally do. Like, you could just try and kill someone with your mandolin.
Am I being attacked by anything?
The spiders aren't attacking you, but they are eyeing you up with their numerous, hideous, glowing eyes.
Now, I've always had a good relationship with spiders. I'm not scared of them. I kind of like them because they catch the flies, and no one likes flies, especially in the eyes. So I'm going to dash up the stairs and get on with this adventure.
So you love spiders so much, you're going to sprint away from them as fast as you can. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. I know better than to disturb a spider's carefully produced webs. So I'm going to avoid those webs.
Very well. So the spiders are raining down. The floor is filling up with blood. So it's quite difficult to navigate this area to reach the staircase. So you're going to have to roll the dice.
I'm going to roll the dice on my random dice roller dice phone. And here we go. Let's roll. Maybe it might make a sound.
Does it say Remington when you use the app?
No, but I just rolled a 2.
That's not very good, I'm afraid. It's not fatal, but it's not great.
Oh.
As young Master Remington attempts to wade through the chest-high blood, through the rain of spiders as they trickle down onto his face, his left foot goes from under him. He slips backwards, sinking down into the blood. Spiders dripping into his mouth. As Remington submerges, the spiders slowly begin entering his body through every orifice available to them.
Do I get superpowers?
We haven't reached that stage yet.
Okay.
You can feel the spiders moving about in your throat, working their way down into your digestive system, Remington. One of the smaller spiders makes its way into your ear canal and starts playing a funky beat on your eardrum. Do you attempt to pull yourself out of the blood as your number one priority? Do you attempt to eject the spiders from your body by way of perhaps vomiting or sneezing or some other bodily function that would eject? Or do you just kind of ignore the whole situation and just lie back and let it happen?
Let's. I think we should make myself sneeze, because that won't hurt the spiders.
Very well. Roll the dice.
Here we go. I'm not sure what I need to roll, but I shall roll anyway. And this time I shall go Remington! And I roll another 2.
That's not great.
Can't even see that.
As you prepare the sneeze from just below the surface of the blood, a small figure appears on the staircase. merely 10 yards away. As Remington's head tilts back and bellows out a mighty sneeze, a tiny spider is flung from your nostril and makes contact with the small figure on the staircase, knocking it down. It seems you have inadvertently struck an innocent bystander, or perhaps some kind of sinister looming presence. Would you like to investigate?
Well, investigate the person I've just knocked over?
Yes, with the sneezed spider.
Yes, okay.
Very well. Do you investigate by some searching and rummaging in its many pockets? Do you pull back its hood, because everyone is hooded in this world? Or do you check its shoes? It's wearing a fine pair of shiny black boots.
Now, I'm going to take off the hood. I want to see who these people are that I keep bumping into with the hoods on.
You pull back the hood, and to your horror, Mr. Remington, you see a hideous, grotesque spider face.
Oh!
A humanoid spider being in a hood. It seems to have been rendered unconscious by the blow. Still breathing, its eyes fixated in the air.
Now, do I have a pair of shoes of my own?
You do have a pair of shoes, but they're not quite as nice as these ones.
Okay, I'm just going to put my foot next to his shoe just to see if his shoes might fit me.
You notice that they are a perfect match.
Right, quick, before he wakes up, I'm going to swap shoes.
Roll the dice.
Okay. Brand new dice roller app. Here we go. Remington! 4.
A 4. You slip the fine black boots off of the human legs of the spider-faced felon, slipping them onto your feet after removing your own shoes without any issues at all. They're a little bit snug on the left foot around the big toe, but you think that's fine and you'll just wear them in after a while.
All right, now.
Continue to rummage among the possessions of this creature as it starts to stir, or do you make your way up the staircase into the unknown?
I'll quickly put my hand down his trousers, see if I can find anything of value.
You're going to have to roll the dice again for that one. Foraging in pants again, Remington.
Remington! 5. That's got to be good.
It's a 5. As you reach into the trousers, you feel some kind of rod. You remove it, being careful not to accidentally dismember the creature as you do so. You pull out the rod. It is somewhat sticky to the touch, but also firm and warm. You hold it before you and recognize it immediately as the legendary Flesh Wand of Slaanesh.
Wow. What do I do with it? Do I taste it? Do I put it in my mouth?
Well, I think that's up to you.
Yes, I should put it in my mouth.
Okay.
What else would you do with a flesh wand of Slaanesh, right?
Well, you tell me.
I don't know. Let me try it, see what happens.
Okay, roll the dice to taste the Flesh Wand of Slaanesh.
Okay. I'm not sure what I've got to roll. Let's see what happens. Remington! A 4. I'm rolling great tonight.
A 4. Well, I was hoping for a 1 there. You find it a bit salty.
Don't I get any magical benefits?
Hey, you didn't roll a 6 there. If you rolled a 6, maybe it would have bestowed you with magical properties. 4, it's just a bit salty.
Oh,
make your way up the staircase because this spider being is lurching into life and slowly getting back to its feet now. What are you going to do? It's looking at you with its eyes darting all over the place. It's many, 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 many eyes darting.
Ooh, I better run up the stairs now. Have I still got the thing in my mouth?
No, you just tasted it.
I tasted it.
Yes.
Yeah, I shall run up the stairs holding the Slanesh. What was it again? Finger
Flesh
glove.
wand.
Flesh wand.
Very well.
Yes, let's go.
Because the creature is slowly getting back to its feet and you're having to step over it on your way up the stairs, you're going to roll the dice again.
Here we go then. Remington.
Oh dear, oh dear.
That's a true Remington roll. There.
As Master Remington steps over the humanoid spider-faced fiend, a hand reaches out, grabbing his left ankle, tugging on it. As you continue to step away and attempt to free yourself, razor-sharp claws emerge from the previously humanoid hand and slice your foot clean off.
What?
You are now lacking a foot, Mr. Remington.
Oh, get lost. I've got the flesh wand. I've got the flesh wand. There's a reason for that. There must be a spell of binding.
You wish to attempt to rebind your foot while you're being hacked to pieces by a creature.
I got to hop up the stairs and just reach down, grab my foot that's been bitten off if I can, and keep hopping up because, the spider's got no shoes on.
You want to just kind of not really deal with the shoeless spider. You want to try and grab your foot that's just been sliced off, and you want to hop up a staircase.
No, you're right. That's too complicated. I'm just going to bash it with my mandolin.
Okay, roll the dice. I thought that's where you were going to go. It's a 6. The mandolin caves in the creature's skull yet again. Brains splatter everywhere, skull fragments. The mandolin is completely demolished. There is nothing left of it whatsoever. You were gripping it, by the way, in your halfling flesh glove. So you've got the flesh glove on one hand, you've got the flesh wand on the other hand. There is a bloody pulp in front of you of a creature, and you're missing a foot.
Now, Mickey Jenver suggests I wear the Slanesh glove wand as a foot. Maybe I can put my stump into the flesh wand, and it might turn into an extra leg, a spare leg.
You want to insert the flesh wand of Slanesh into your stump?
No, the other way around. Insert the stump into the flesh wand.
Okay.
And say a prayer to Slanesh. Who knows? I might get lucky. Remington. It didn't work. Remington. I'm all about the 4s tonight, baby.
Well, you did offer a prayer to Slanesh, so if you like, you could re-roll that. If you want to take the gamble.
Remington.
Very well. The flesh wand of Slanesh is inserted into the bloody stump, and you immediately feel it take hold. It starts to sprout veins which encircle the outside of your leg and grip it, making it one with your body. Your leg immediately jerks forward up the stairs, and the stump with the flesh wand of Slanesh attached seems to be leading you on, almost dragging you behind it as you hop, feverishly attempting to keep up with it as it takes you up the spiral staircase. And I think that is where we're going to leave that.
Oh, wow. The flesh wand is leading me up to the bedroom.
You assume it's a bedroom. None of the other rooms seem to have had any particular regular household function.
No, well, Thomas says, didn't I lose my mandolin a week or 2 ago? I can't remember. There's not much of the mandolin left after I've been bashing faces with it and heads.
Well, we're going to assume that you kept the shattered remnants of the mandolin as a souvenir, and now you've just completely finished it off, if you did indeed get rid of it.
Oh. Well, that was a good one, Andy. I have to dash now because I have phone calls to make.
Very important phone calls to chiefs, apparently.
And hearts to break.
Well, so while you're doing the outro song this week, instead of showing off the logo, I'm going to show off some images that members of our audience have posted in the Facebook group.
Oh, wow.
So let's just get one of those ready right now. And you can see the names of the people that painted them at the top of the screen as well. So, of course, folks, don't forget to like the video and don't forget to leave a permanent comment afterwards by refreshing the page sometime later on. And if you've got any suggestions for how Mr. Remington should proceed in the tower, any ideas for what he could potentially do to free himself from the flesh wand embedded in his foot, perhaps, then feel free. And with that, it's time to turn things over to the musical maestro himself as we ogle these marvelous images painted by our members of our audience.
Wow, they are some miniatures there. They are awesome. It's the Andy and Remington Steel Show on a Tuesday night. It's the Andy and Remington Steel Show for your home delight. We're talking about Age of Sigmar and yes, everything else that is cool. Talking about Warhammer fantasy, it's easy to learn the rules. When you're in the Forest of Rem, what can you do but trust your instincts? When you're in the Forest of Rem, what can you do? And what rhymes with instincts?
Incense? Insects?
Incense.